Dear Sagittarius, something is moving toward you, soft but unmistakably clear, like a calling your soul has heard for a long time, yet kept trying to ignore. Do you feel it, that vague restlessness, as if a great truth is waiting for you at the end of the path? Something that, if you dare to face it, will change the direction of your life forever. But deep inside, you know you've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. Lately, have you noticed yourself becoming a little quieter, a strong Sagittarius, always looking toward the future, yet suddenly pausing and asking, why do I feel like something is about to shift? The things that once felt comfortable now feel tight. The relationships that once felt familiar now feel out of rhythm. And even you no longer want to pretend to be strong the way you used to. Sagittarius, this is not anxiety. This is not losing direction. This is awakening, the calling of truth. You were born to expand, to go further, to live bigger than any limit placed on you. But recently you've been shrinking yourself, hiding your true emotions, so nothing around you gets shaken. You're so strong that everyone thinks you never get tired, but the strongest souls are often the ones carrying the deepest cracks. This turning point isn't coming to break you. It's coming to remind you that it's time to live in alignment with the truth you've avoided for far too long. You were not born to live a life that's just fine. You were born to live a life that is right, powerful, honest, and wide open. And what you're about to hear today will touch the very place your heart has kept hidden. If you're feeling this shift, leave a comment as a signal to the universe that you are ready. Now, prepare yourself a cup of tea or your favorite coffee. Sit down comfortably. Let's begin a conversation between two friends right at the moment you need it most. Part 1. The warning energy is rising. The Sagittarius soul is preparing for a major leap. Dear Sagittarius, there are moments in life you cannot explain with words, yet your heart feels them more clearly than any truth. Moments when you wake up in the morning and realize you're no longer the version you were yesterday, even though nothing has changed. Moments when you stand among people, yet feel somehow separated from them, as if you're hearing an invisible melody they cannot hear. Moments when you suddenly understand that you're at the end of an old chapter, even before you've turned the page. These are the days Sagittarius is moving through. You may not say it out loud, but you can feel this shift coming closer. A kind of heavy energy that isn't uncomfortable, deep but not dark, powerful but not frightening. It feels like standing before a great door, slowly opening, light leaking through little by little, and you know with absolute certainty that once you step through, nothing will ever be the same. But you still don't know what lies on the other side. And that unknown makes you both excited and hesitant. Sagittarius is the sign of freedom, of expansion, of leaps of faith. But the truth few people know is before every major leap, Sagittarius always goes through a deeply quiet pause. Not because you're weak, not because you're scared, but because your soul knows the next step will change your entire life. And to prepare for that transformation, the universe needs you to slow down, to be still, to listen a bit more, to look inward a bit more. Lately, have you found it hard to focus, as if your mind keeps getting pulled toward questions you once avoided? I living in alignment with myself? Does this relationship still reflect my true values? Does this environment give me space to grow? Am I becoming someone I no longer recognize? Don't worry. This is not a crisis, not a negative sign. This is your soul's subtle warning that you are touching the very edge of a life too small for your true worth. Sagittarius was never born to live small, but sometimes because of responsibility, love-kindness, or the desire to keep peace, you shrink yourself, suppress your truth, and make your sky-sized heart smaller just to fit the space around you. But at a certain point, your soul can't tolerate that contraction anymore. It begins knocking from within, soft at first, then stronger. It pulls your attention toward everything you once avoided. The emotions you didn't dare touch, the dreams you placed aside, the limits you no longer want to accept, the truths you've been silent about for too long, the relationships that don't give you room to grow, the responsibilities that cost your freedom, and most importantly, the real version of you. Sagittarius, do you see it? The universe isn't just reminding you. The universe is calling you out of temporary comfort, calling you to face a truth you fear you're not ready for, calling you to end a chapter you know has expired, calling you to become a bigger version of yourself, one you haven't even imagined yet. The tightness you feel in the energy lately is the sign of an expansion cycle, a cycle carrying the unmistakable imprint of Jupiter. Wounds, fears, hesitation, everything is being pushed to the surface so you can release it. Sagittarius cannot soar high while still tied to small things. Life always clears the path for those brave enough to open their hearts. And deep down, you've always been that kind of person. The turning point ahead isn't coming to test you, it's coming to free you from outdated beliefs, from emotional suppression, from promises you no longer want to carry, from the version of Sagittarius who has lived too much for others. You want freedom, but it's your fear of losing the familiar that's holding you back. You want a bigger life, but old beliefs are shrinking you. And this turning point will break everything that binds you. Not through pain, but through truth. Not through loss, but through expansion. Not through limitation, but through the reminder that Sagittarius was born to walk the wide-open path. Part 2: How Sagittarius Lost Their Truth. Dear Sagittarius, if there is one thing the universe has always admired about you, it is your heart's devotion to truth. You are the Zodiac sign, born to search for meaning, to seek wisdom, to look for something larger than the small, everyday experiences around you. You see life through my lens than most people, feeling every moment as part of a long journey where each step carries a message. But because you were born to see truth, you are also the one who most easily loses your own truth. You didn't lose it on purpose. You simply forgot to protect it. The entire life of a Sagittarius is the dance between truth and kindness. Because, truth can be sharp, too real, too raw, and you don't want anyone to hurt because of it. So you soften it a little, stay silent a little, even carry things on your own just to keep the peace. And slowly, bit by bit, you lose the ability to say the one thing your soul needs, to hear most, "This is who I truly am." You are strong, but sometimes so strong that you hide away the softness and wounds inside you. You are optimistic, but sometimes so optimistic that you push your sadness to the very bottom of your heart. You are free, but sometimes you live as if you're tied down by the expectations of others. Sagittarius has a dangerous habit using positivity to cover what still hurts. You always say, "Everything will be fine. I'm used to it. It's okay. I can handle it." But Sagittarius, You were not born to endure. You were born to live honestly, to say what others are afraid to say, to choose paths others don't dare walk, to step into lands no one has imagined before. Yet recently you've allowed yourself to be held back by small things, tiny limits, invisible walls you didn't realize you were building around yourself. This isn't your fault. It's your heart's defense mechanism, a heart that has been misunderstood too many times. You once told the truth, and it hurt you. You once were bold, and people said you were too sensitive or too intense. You once followed your intuition, and others called you unreasonable. You once stepped out of your comfort zone, and you paid a painful price. So you slowly learn to adjust yourself, share less truth show, less vulnerability, speak less from the heart, trust your intuition less. But Sagittarius, deep down, you know every time you stay silent instead of speaking truth, a small part of you feels like you are betraying yourself. You're flexible in thought, but when facing your real emotions, you freeze not because you don't know what to do, but because you fear that choosing truth might cost you something: a relationship stability, your image, your role, someone's respect, or even the fragile peace you've worked so hard to maintain. But everything you're trying to protect is exactly what's holding you back. Here is the most important truth of this entire section: Sagittarius is not limited by anyone else. Sagittarius is limited only by their own old beliefs. And the turning point you're about to enter will go straight into the deepest part of you, your core beliefs, the part no one sees, the part only you and the universe know. This is not the type of change like new environment, new job, new relationship, new direction that you've done before. This is change at the level of root belief, the foundational belief you hold about who you are. This is the moment when the universe begins a soul realignment, correcting your life path, pulling you back into your true alignment. This means everything forced, artificial, outdated, or halfway will begin to fall away. Not to make you lose, but to make you lighter. Not to hurt you, but to awaken you. Not to abandon you, but to free you. The truth you've been avoiding is the very thing blocking your expansion. The universe doesn't want you to continue living in a shrunken version of yourself. It is time for you to expand in the way Sagittarius was always meant to. And to expand, you must dare to face truth. The truth about your emotions. The truth about what you want. The truth about what you've endured for far too long. The truth about the places your soul no longer belongs to. Part 3, Personalized Lessons for each Sagittarius birth group. Dear Sagittarius, not all of you enter a turning point in the same way. Even though every Sag can feel the powerful energy pulling them toward truth, each birth group faces a different type of soul lesson, as if the universe knows exactly where you need to be touched in order to awaken, not through shock, but through clarity. And once you see clearly, you will never be able to go back to who you used to be. Let's see where your birth group lies and listen closely to what resonates in your heart. November 22, December 1, a turning point about truth in relationship. Sagittarius, born in this early phase, are always more sensitive than they appear. You feel other people's energy deeply, so deeply that many times you choose silence to avoid hurting them. You fear that if you speak your truth, you might damage the connection, break the harmony, or push someone away. But the truth is, you've been sacrificing yourself far too much. Your turning point lies in relationships, the place where you've been trying too hard to create balance, while your heart has been sending you quiet signals, begging you to look again. A truth will surface, a secret, a hidden motive, a feeling you've sensed for a long time, or a sign that you expected the wrong thing from someone. You will stand before a very clear choice: stay in the illusion, just to keep the connection, or choose truth, even if truth changes everything. This is not a lesson about loss. It's a lesson about freeing your heart. Early December, Sagittarius was not born to stay in relationships that force you to bend your truth. You need love, friendships, and connections where you can stand fully in your light, not in someone else's shadow, not in a role you force yourself into. The universe is guiding you to ask yourself honestly, is this still right for me? Is this still worthy of my heart? And when you choose truth, a new door will open for you naturally, gently, and perfectly aligned. December 2, December 11, a turning point about career and soul mission. This group carries the energy of a guide, someone who sees pathways others don't. You are the group most likely to shift careers, experiment, break patterns, yet also the group most likely to lose yourself when responsibilities and expectations pull you off your true path. You are now standing at a turning point directly connected to mission and career. A major opportunity is coming, one that aligns deeply with your soul's nature, one that you know you were born to experience. But at the same time, fear will try to pull you backward: fear of failure, fear of risk, fear of leaving the old, for the new, fear of losing stability, fear of not being good enough or ready enough. You'll be placed before a very clear choice: take the leap of faith, or stay in the old comfort, even though you know it has already expired. This is not the kind of opportunity based on luck. It is the kind that whispers, if you don't choose this, you will always wonder why. This group is also the most sensitive to signs from the universe. You may notice repeated synchronicities, guidance appearing from multiple sources, unusually strong intuition, the feeling of "I was born to do this." This group was born to lead, not follow. You are not here to walk behind, you are here to open roads. If you choose the truth of your soul, your career will not simply change, it will rise to a new level that matches your real vision and potential. December 12, December 21, a turning point about identity and belief. This is the Sagittarius group with the strongest inner power, yet the group held back the most by old beliefs. You are wise, sensitive, intuitive, and able to see the essence of things far more quickly than others. But because you've lived deeply, felt deeply, and understood deeply, you also carry layers of old beliefs that are difficult to shed. This group is entering a phase of belief breakdown, the collapse of a belief you've relied on for a very long time. This belief might relate to who you think you are, what you believe you deserve, what you believe you're capable of, who you think you should choose, the standards you think you must follow, the role you think you must play in someone else's life. When these old beliefs crumble, you'll see life shift quickly, and you will shift quickly. Not because you're lost, but because you're shedding old layers to return to your true essence. This is the hardest, but also the most beautiful lesson. You are being forced to redefine yourself. Not as others see you, not as the past shaped you, not as fear tries to convince you, but as who you truly are. When you choose truth, you will realize how long you've been living through the expectations of others. And once you return to your true identity, everything, relationships, opportunities, environments, and the flow of your life will rearrange to match who you really are. The common thread for all three groups, Sagittarius, must choose truth instead of escape. No matter which birth group you belong to, this turning point brings you to one question: do you choose truth or do you choose comfort? If you choose truth, everything will open. If you run, you'll end up at the same crossroads again. Dear Sagittarius, if you see your birth group reflected in these words, leave a comment to connect with others walking the same path. And remember to subscribe so you can follow the next part where the turning point finally begins to reveal its shape. Part 4: The signs the universe sends to Sagittarius before the turning point. Dear Sagittarius, before a major turning point appears in your life, the universe never lets you fall into it unprepared. On the contrary, it always sends you signs, clear, direct, powerful, sometimes right in your face, exactly in the fiery style of Sagittarius. You are the sign of intuition, of sharp instincts, of sensing truth beneath the surface. That is why the universe chooses to communicate with you through signals that you cannot pretend not to see. If lately you feel like you're reading invisible messages from life, you're not imagining it. You are being guided toward your turning point. Let me walk you through each sign so you can understand how the universe has been speaking to you. Dreams with messages as strong as warnings. Sagittarius is always guided by strong intuition, but when you're approaching a turning point, your dreams become different. No longer blurry or fragmented. They become sharper structured with characters, emotions, choices. Many Sagittarians say they wake up feeling like they were warned about something. You may dream of standing before two paths, one door open, one door closed, someone leaving or someone coming closer, danger warnings, or a push to take action, imagined conversations that feel deeply meaningful. These are not dreams. These are energetic rehearsals, your consciousness training you before the real turning point arrives. Repeated synchronicities, numbers, phrases, symbols. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of signs, expansion, and divine guidance. When your timeline is about to shift, synchronicities appear so often that you can't ignore them. You may see patterns like 111, 222, 555, 777, hearing the same sentence from multiple people, repeatedly seeing a symbol, arrow, horse, flame, running into someone you haven't thought about for years, a certain keyword showing up everywhere. These things aren't random. They are alignment signs that you are moving in the right direction. The feeling of this no longer fits me. Not dislike, not boredom, but a soft, clear feeling I don't belong here anymore. You find yourself losing interest in what used to excite you, not wanting to maintain relationships that once felt close, not wanting to continue certain habits or lifestyles, not feeling aligned with your current environment. Nothing is wrong. It's a sign your soul has grown bigger than the shell you're living in. Sagittarius was not born to stay in one place too long. And when your soul outgrows the environment, the universe pulls you out, disconnecting from the old circle, but meeting new aligned people. You may notice you're talking less with old friends, not wanting to collaborate with people you once trusted, feeling someone drifting away from you with no explanation. But at the same time, new people appear, people who say exactly what you've been thinking, people on your frequency, sharing your values, people who inspire you, people who push you to grow, people who recognize the real Sag in you. This is how the universe rearranges your soul circle before the turning point. Strong mental shifts, anger, calmness, clarity, rotating. Sagittarius is the sign of the fire of truth, and before a turning point, your emotions become more intense than usual. Quick frustration, irritation with anything fake exhaustion, from pretending emotional sensitivity, sudden moments of deep clarity. These are signs that your mind is resetting to receive new truth. Every wave of emotion is you shedding another layer of old energy. Truth revealing itself through unexpected moments. Sagittarius always senses truth before it's spoken. But in this phase, truth doesn't just whisper, it shows up. You overhear a sentence that hits you straight in the heart. Someone's action reveals their true nature. You finally notice something you've been avoiding, a piece of information, appears exactly when you need it. The universe doesn't want you to run anymore. It wants you to see clearly and choose. Part 5, Sagittarius must face the biggest decision of the year: choose truth or choose comfort. Dear Sagittarius, if you've reached this part, it means your soul is finally ready to face what you have avoided for so long, a major, unmistakable, irreversible choice. A choice that does not lie on the surface of life, not about work, money, or relationships, but something far deeper, the choice between truth and comfort. This is the most important turning point of your year, perhaps of many years. Throughout life, Sagittarius is the sign of expansion. You love wide spaces, new experiences, big truths, real feelings. But because you love freedom, you also carry a hidden fear, the fear of being confined. Sagittarius fears being boxed in, fears being restrained by responsibility, by the emotions of others, by situations that force you to stay still. And because of this, sometimes you avoid making decisions, not because you don't know what you want, but because you fear that once you choose, you can never go back. You fear choosing wrong. Fear losing what's familiar. Fear losing your freedom. Fear that stepping out of your comfort zone will bring uncertainty. But Sagittarius, here is the truth. It is the refusal to choose that is tying you down. You think staying in comfort is safe, but it is slowing you down. It is draining the life out of your heart little by little. Sagittarius was born to move, expand, explore, and soar. You cannot grow if you keep holding on to something that has already expired. This turning point forces you to confront yourself, R-U-T-H, the path that is right, wide, powerful, but not easy. C-U-A-F-O-R. And deep down, you know truth never lives in the comfortable place. Truth always waits on the other side of fear. In the days ahead, you will encounter a situation that pushes you into this choice, not by accident, but by design. You will stand in a moment where your heart asks loudly, do I want to live honestly, or do I want to live easily? And Sagittarius, when you choose truth, your life will shift quickly in a way that aligns perfectly with your soul. Powerful, energetic, opening, a sense of lightness, freedom, and release, Jupiter blessing opportunities, people, and abundance arriving through magical synchronicities, aligned soul timeline delays, clear movement returns stagnation, dissolves old doors, open effortlessly, your true self rises, clear, unafraid of being seen. You will realize that all this time you were never afraid of losing freedom, you were afraid of losing an old version of yourself. But Sagittarius was not born to hold on to old versions. You were born to rebirth, to transform many times in one lifetime, each time bolder, more authentic, more aligned with your destiny. And this turning point is your biggest rebirth of the year. Not a rebirth of circumstances, a rebirth of the soul. The truth is, you no longer fit where you are. You no longer fit into smallness. You no longer fit into roles you had to force yourself to hold. You are built for a bigger life, a deeper life, a more meaningful, more beautiful life aligned with Sagittarius energy. But to step into that life, you must dare to step out of where you're standing now. Dear Sagittarius, if your heart is vibrating as you read this, it means you already know your answer. Leave a comment to affirm to the universe that you are ready to walk into the truth of your life. I choose my Sagittarius truth. Don't forget to like and subscribe to continue receiving messages crafted for your awakening journey. Because this turning point is only the beginning, the most beautiful part is still ahead. Dear Sagittarius, if you've stayed until the very end of this video, it says far more about you than you realize. Not everyone has the courage to look directly at their own truth, and even fewer have the calmness to listen to the calling of change approaching. But you did, and that alone shows that your soul is truly ready to step into the next stage of your growth. The most important lesson you can carry with you from this video is the lesson of being honest with yourself. Not the truth you offer to others, but the truth you've been avoiding inside your own heart for far too long. The lesson of choosing truth over comfort. The lesson of allowing yourself to grow even when that growth requires you to leave what is familiar. The lesson of no longer forcing yourself to fit into relationships or environments that have already completed their purpose. The lesson of daring to acknowledge, I deserve a life that is wider, truer, and more honest. Starting today, there are a few simple but powerful things you can practice. Take 10 minutes each day to look directly at your real emotions. Practice saying what you truly want instead of saying what makes others comfortable. Observe your environment and ask yourself, does this place still match who I am becoming? Listen to your intuition whenever you feel your energy tightening. That is the signal that change is needed. And above all, trust that anything leaving your life is clearing space for something better. Sagittarius was not born to live halfway. You were born to live clearly, truthfully, and freely. This turning point is your opportunity to return to your true soul without shrinking, without hiding, without forcing yourself to fit anywhere you no longer belong. If this video touched you, leave a comment as an affirmation to the universe that you are ready. I am ready for my Sagittarius destiny change. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to continue traveling through this awakening journey. Every interaction you make helps this message reach more Sagittarians, those who are also searching for the light you are embracing now. And finally, remember this simple but powerful truth you were born to expand. You were born to be free. And you were born to become yourself. See you in the next video, dear Sagittarius.